Cambodia's royal palace was begun by King Norodom I in 1886, when the capital was moved to Phnom Penh. Most buildings were completed before the First World War, with involvement by French administrators and Thai designers and architects. French influence can be seen in the formal gardens which enhance the palace, and there are some European-style buildings on the grounds. The present structure dates from 1919. Imitating the face towers at Angkor, four faces overlook the complex from the main spire high above the roof, whose eaves are braced by flying celestials. The staircases that lead up to the building's high wrap-around porch are decorated by Naga balustrades. Set on top of a tree-covered knoll 27 metres high, Wat Phnom is the only hill in Phnom Penh. According to legend, the first pagoda on this site was erected in 1373 to house four statues of Buddha, deposited here by the waters of the Mekong and discovered by a woman named Pen. Formerly a high school, the Khmer Rouge Tuo Sleng prison is an indictment to man's inhumanity to man. If anyone should ever wish to view a vision of hell on earth, this would be a very good place to start. More than 1 million people were brutally murdered here. Tonle Sap, commonly translated as Great Lake, refers to a seasonally inundated freshwater lake and attached river 120 kilometres long that connects the lake to the Mekong. The highly polarised nature of Cambodian society becomes eminently clear on cruising down the Tonle Sap. Kodak, or Silk Island, covers 30 square kilometres on the shores of the Mekong River, upstream of Phnom Penh. It's famed as an important silk weaving centre. Despite Silk Island's seeming remoteness, it houses a large and beautiful Buddhist temple. Fried tarantulas, scorpions and millipedes are a real delicacy in Cambodia. She was still on a tour the next day, so I assume she survived. There must be some lessons here for flood-prone Britain. Not exactly strictly, but entertaining nonetheless. The highlight of any visit to Cambodia must be the Angkor temples. The Royals group comprised three temples, Bakong, Nolai and Preah Ko, 11 kilometres southeast of Siem Reap. They date from the late 9th century. The buildings comprise tall square-shaped brick towers on pedestals, open to the east with false doors on the other three sides. As is typical of this period, brick was used for the towers and sandstone for carved areas such as columns, lintels and decorative niches. Banteay Srey, begun in AD 967, is one of the smallest sites at Angkor, but it includes many fine stone carvings. Banteay Srey is a Hindu temple and means citadel of the women, and is said that it must have been built by women as the elaborate carvings are supposedly too fine to have been done by a man. Preah was built in the second half of the 10th century by King Rajendraman II, dedicated to the Hindu god Siva. Although the theory hasn't been proven, Prerup may have served as a funeral site and crematorium for the Angkor civilization. It's common practice in Cambodia to hold funeral services at the temple, and Prerup means turn the body in Khmer. The temple could have got its name from the ritual rotation of the deceased body and ashes throughout the funeral services, but no one really knows. One of the musts at Prerup is to observe sunset from the topmost platform. We were no exception. Similarly, one of the musts at Angkor Wat is to observe it at sunrise. Angkor Thom, the last capital of the Khmer Empire, was a fortified city enclosing residences of the priests, officials of the palace and military, as well as buildings for administering the kingdom. A long causeway leading to each entry tower is flanked by a row of 54 stone figures on each side, demons on the right and gods on the left, to make a total of 108 mythical beings guarding the city. The demons have a grimacing expression and wear a military headdress, whereas the gods look serene with their almond-shaped eyes and wear a conical headdress. A serpent spreads its 9 heads in the shape of a fan at the beginning of the causeway. Its body extends the whole length of the causeway and is held by the gods and demons, forming a serpent-like railing. It may symbolise the rainbow uniting the worlds of man and the gods. This representation is reinforced by the presence of Indra. An entry tower and long causeway bisect each side of the wall, except on the east, where there are 2 entrances. The additional one, called the Gate of Victory, is aligned with the causeway leading to the terraces of the elephants and the Leper King. A small temple known as Prasat Krung stands at each corner of the wall around the city. Symbolically, Angkor Thom is a microcosm of the universe, divided into 4 parts by the main axes. The Temple of the Bayon is situated at the exact centre of the axes and stands as a symbolical link between heaven and earth. The wall enclosing the city of Angkor Thom represents the stone wall around the universe and the mountain ranges around Meru. The surrounding moat, now dry, symbolises the cosmic ocean. just hoping he doesn't end up as lunch. The Terrace of the Elephants is an impressive 2.5 metre tall, 300 metre long terrace adorned with carved elephants and garudas spanning the front of the royal palace at the heart of Angkor Thom. The northern section of the wall displays some particularly fine sculpture, including the five-headed horse and scenes of warriors and dancers. Constructed in part by Jayavarman VII and extended by his successor, the Terrace of the Leopard King is at the northern end of the Terrace of the Elephants. Preah Khan is located 2 kilometres northeast of Angkor Thom and was built in the second half of the 12th century by King Jayavarman VII. It was built on the site where Jayavarman finally defeated the Chams. 4 concentric ramparts subdivide Preah Khan. The outer or fourth wall, which is encircled by a wide moat, today encloses a large tract of jungle, formerly the living quarters of the monks, students and attendants of Preah Khan. The second rampart delineated the principal religious compound of about 4 hectares, within which there is a dense concentration of temples and shrines. The central complex is Buddhist. The northern western sectors are dedicated to Brahmanism, Vishnu west and Shiva north, whilst the southern sector is a place of ancestor worship. The eastern sector forms a grand entrance to the central shrine. Prasat Kravan is located in the east of Angkor Wat and was built in the first half of the 10th century and completed during the reign of Harshavarman I. The sculpture on the interior of 2 of the 5 towers depicts Vishnu and his consort Lakshmi. These carvings in brick on the interior of a monument are unique in Khmer architecture. The Temple of Ta Prohm has been immortalised as a location in the film Tomb Raider. Although the film took visual liberties with other Angkorian temples, its scenes of Ta Prohm were quite faithful to the temple's actual appearance. Ta Prohm has been overwhelmed by gigantic banyan trees and has been left untouched by archaeologists except for the clearing of a path for visitors and structural strengthening to stave off further deterioration. Fig banyan and kapok trees spread their gigantic roots over stones, probing walls and terraces apart as their branches and leaves intertwine to form a roof over the structures. Trunks of trees twist among stone pillars. Ta Prohm is among the largest of the monuments in the Angkor complex, which includes 260 statues of gods, 39 towers with pinnacles, and 566 groups of residences. Taprom comprises a series of long low buildings standing on one level, which are enclosed by rectangular laterite walls, 600 by 1000 metres. Only traces of the wall are still visible. The centre of the monument is reached by a series of towers connected with passages. This arrangement forms a sort of sacred way into the heart of the monument. 3 square galleries enclose the area. Angkor Wat took around 30 years to build in the first half of the 12th century by King Suryavarman II. It's dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu. It's the largest monument of the Angkor group and the best preserved, and is reckoned to be an architectural masterpiece. It's generally accepted that Angkor Wat was a funerary temple for Suryavarman II, being oriented to the west to conform with the symbolism between the setting sun and death. The bas-reliefs, designed for viewing from left to right in the order of Hindu funereal ritual, support this function.